Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome to Susie's Enchanted Crossroads. I'm Susie, and this podcast helps you navigate your journey through the crossroads by taking a deeper look into witchcraft and spirituality. So settle in, grab your beverage of choice, and let's get this episode going. Hello, gorgeous souls. Happy October. It has started. Season of the Witch. We just had our autumn equinox. And you might notice that the days are getting a little shorter and our nights a little bit longer. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm sure everyone else is excited. I'm trying to get into that witchy Halloween, get into that fall season. So I purchased some new sweatshirts and very witchy, very cozy, even though it is about 90 plus degrees outside with the sun blasting bright. That desert living. But wherever you're at, I would love to hear um how the weather is around you. I'm going to spoiler alert, I will be traveling and I'm actually going to visit my beautiful sister and her family. And so far, she said that it's been cloudy, rainy, and that is the perfect recipe for some fall weather. So, in this episode, as we opened up October, we are closing eclipse season. Let me know how that has been for you. I know with the lunar eclipse, it was really difficult for a lot of you. But now that we're coming into the fall, into the thinning of the veil, which I always feel a little weird about saying that because a veil is already thin, but we'll discuss that in later episodes. I won't get into that now. Welcoming in Maybom and Samhain coming up, Halloween, if you will. I just wanted to give you some things that we can already start to do in the month of October and into November. So let's start with a reading. I pulled some cards, and for the collective for October, for spooky season, I am pulling for my Santa Muerte tarot deck, and I have Seasons of the Witch, my Samhain Oracle deck. So right off the bat, what you need to hear as far as, spooky season goes, and for the month of October, we have the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is intelligent, where we have rationality, we're methodical. Sometimes it can be seen as being cold, right? A little rough around the edges because it is a sword. Swords are for protecting, but it can also do some damage. But the heart is open, okay? We're just not deep into our emotions, where our emotions are running us. This is where we need to sit and we contemplate. We know what we need. We know what is needed. We have taken into account the research and speaking to who we need to speak to, not in a roundabout way, very direct. It is a call, though, not to forget the feelings of empathy, but we're getting things done. The advice of the dead, I'm going to read directly because I loved it when I read it. You do not need to deal with an argument directly, one you already know you can win, but rather to redirect your efforts towards more profitable emotional objectives. So it's finding that balance, right? The balance of emotion and how you're feeling towards the situation, person, place, or thing, and knowing everything that you undoubtedly know for fact. It's a beautiful little dance that we need to feel and go through in the human experience. Okay. Altar and Bat came out from the Seasons of the Witch Oracle deck. Very, very exciting, especially since this is part of what I'm going to talk about today. Things that we can do in the month of October that we can already get started with. And seeing Altar come out, I was like, oh yeah, 100%. When you see Altar, this is sacred devotion, a worship. And it's not just an altar for your ancestors as we come up with Day of the Dead and Halloween, right? Looking at the altar as your sacred space to honor something. And yes, we honor our ancestors and our guides and our deities, but it's very, very important that you don't forget about your practice as a whole. So if you do nothing else in October, this is a time where we think about our inner altar. And I this is a time where I am starting to promote my own programs because my program, The Altar Within, I go through this with you. Having altars are beautiful, altar for whatever you believe in, but it has to come from you first. You have to honor your own magic. Like you are the magic. So coming into that intuition, what you know, what you don't know, what we're leaning into is very, very, very important, in my opinion. So the sacred space is created to honor something in your practice, a space dedicated for devotion. It could be to your craft, to yourself, to deity, to your guides. This is where we put in our sacred energy. This is where you gather. Now, if you don't practice out in the open, that's why I had created my program, The Altar Within. You can create your altar within yourself. If you can't practice outward because you share a space or a home with somebody, then the altar is within yourself. That's why I stress to newbies and just as a reminder to everybody else, you don't have to constantly be buying and purchasing things. You don't need to have all these things. You can have your inner altar for your guides. They understand, they know the world that you're living in. And if you feel like you need to reiterate, you need to tell them, I live in the fucking Bible Belt, y'all. You know, ancestor, I know you know what this means. And they're gonna be like, hell yeah, dude, we sure do. So the altar you keep within yourself, or a glass of water, you can leave it on the counter and be like, as you're pouring it, like, these people don't know it, but this water's for you. Here's your water. Thank you for guiding me, for helping me, for protecting me, or whatever. That's how easy it is. Buying a candle from Target, too easy. Tapping into that inner altar, okay, my guides, what scent are we feeling? What color? Is white cool? Cool. This is for you. The altar within is very, very important. And to pull it with the bat. The bat is invoking power and fear and not fearing the hidden. It's that underlying change. I remember when I lived in Austin, I loved seeing the bats come out when we would go to like South by Southwest, and there was just like all these lights that attract the bugs, and then you see the bats coming out and feasting. Or when I would go to Carlsbad Caverns, and you would hear the bats, and then you would see them as the sun would set, and they come out. Many people believe bats to be blind, but they see using their ears to attune vibrations and sense things. Your intuition can see beyond your eyesight, picking up on things the rational mind can sometimes miss. Hell yeah. This is tapping into that intuition, the knowing, like the King of Swords, feeling it out, not forgetting, tending to that altar. If we were to close your eyes right now, take a deep breath in, exhale out the mouth. What does your inner altar look like? Is it well kept? Is it dusty? Are there candles or portraits? If you came to worship this place, would you know it? You're being guided to tap into hidden realms of your own subconscious. The bat comes flying into your reading. It's time to peek into the dark caves and spaces. It's time for you to dig into your spirituality, facing the good, the bad, the ugly, but advises you to stop trying and start allowing. Allow your intuition to guide you. Now, how beautiful is that reading? This could resonate for everyone because remember, again, our nights are growing longer, our days are shorter. So we're going to be more in the dark than we will be in the light. Can't fear it. Why would we fear such things? Shadow work isn't crazy, it's a part of you. It's important. But just like in the Hermit card, you use your lantern, your inner flashlight, your guide. You trust yourself. Thank you so much for my guides and everyone else's guides and being open to receiving. Okay. Things that we can do as a fall equinox, right? Ugh, I love it. If anything, very, very easy, low effort, just giving thanks to the season, starting with the sky, looking up at the moon, looking at your moon sign. During Libra season, we balance the scales, right? We perform rituals. We can perform rituals of justice, honoring the Empress, finding grace, forgiveness, and awaken our inner beauty along the way. It's important to understand physical effects and the items that we take internally, right, to our altar. So, just as we see the beauty in spring as flowers are blossoming and opening, right? There's beauty in the fall, knowing that death isn't always done. There's an eternity. It's an that you know that some things are just going to come back and some things have run its cycle. To connect yourself to the spaces around you and invest in your practice. The sun sets, but you know it's going to rise. So you can set an intention for the season. Harvest festivals, full moons. These are moments to pause and recognize the journeys that you have gone through. Where are you right now? We're coming to the quote unquote end of the year. So how can you invite some magic into your life? Put out an intention, a lunar ritual. There are times right now where maybe people are creating fire cider to keep them healthy. Um, Setting just an intention on the full moon of things to release. New ideas and hopes can come during this time. This is where we really circle into our craft. In the summer, we're out, we're celebrating with people. Some of us, right, if we like that. But for the majority, we're out, the sun is out, we're warmed. As soon as we have our longer nights, this is about feeling cozy and looking within ourselves, our own inner darkness, which is a beautiful thing. So maybe to celebrate, you can set your intentions to deepen your practice as the nights go deeper and longer as well. All right, some other fun things. Picking fruit right now is harvesting very big because for the upcoming winter months, we have to harvest kind of the last of whatever it is that we need for the harsh winters. Apple picking is huge right now. Baking pies, preserving your bounty. Baking bread also, if you haven't tried it, is so number one, so easy and it's so delicious. Anyone can do it. You don't need anything special to bake bread. Having a feast with the family, right? And remember, your family isn't only what you were born into. Your family is who you choose to be around with, friends. And you can give thanks at this time. for May around the Mabon season or Samhain season. This is just taking a few minutes of gratitude for your harvest, your bounty. Um, Thanking your ancestors and loved ones for enduring what they did and where you are now. Nothing big, just thank you. Um, I'm going to talk about Samhain a little bit later, but the celebration of this continues obviously October 31st, and it's the Celtic Summer's End known as Samhain. And you are either trick-or-treating with kiddos, you're handing out candy, you're partaking in the traditional dumb supper. But this is obviously Halloween is a big thing. And this is where you can also have your offerings. But I'm going to get into that in later episodes. You can leave offerings for your nature spirits. You have a backyard or a garden. Even if you were to leave it at your front door, nobody's going to know but you. You can go for a walk. I know it's like, okay, go for a walk, but when you're going out there, really enjoying it, really feeling the crisp air, looking up to the cloudy sky, feeling the change around you. Collecting. So right now is a time where you can collect your leaves and your acorns, and you can decorate like your altar with it, but acorns can also, and pine cones, where you can actually collect those to make your petitions for some wishes for the coming year or the season. We talked about decorating your altar and decorating your home, but if you're feeling really crafty, you can actually make a wreath. And some of them are so easy already made, unless you want to start from scratch. But the wreath can be as creepy or as um fall-esque as you as you will, putting on your wreath or even in your decorations, things that you collected from the leaves to pine cones to acorns, and they all have their own magical properties, but a lot of that is bringing in abundance and protection around this time. Corn mazes are always fun and pumpkin patches. I love them, as well as bonfires, because traditionally, in ancient times, having a bonfire was like part of the holy days, right? Fire, it was seen as cleansing and had protective qualities. And when you lit a bonfire on Samhain, it was to bring in a good year ahead, because you would throw your petitions in the fire or on the acorn or on the pine cone and throw it in the fire for your wishes, your petitions, and that would bring in um, the good energy for the coming year ahead. And you may love this, hate this, but fall cleaning, I know we think about spring cleaning, but fall cleaning is actually a really good start to a tradition, because when we have the winter months, we want to clean out any negative or stagnant energies left over from summer parties, summer energy. Um, and it's really giving our home a reset, because remember, we're going to have less time with windows and doors open as our days become colder. So it's really like decluttering your sacred space. So cleaning, maybe even getting rid of some things that you really don't need. Maybe you've held on to them, like spring cleaning. Oh, I'll hold on to this, but then you see it right now and you're like, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to go ahead and donate it, and opening up your space for abundance. Candles, candles, candles. Super easy. There's so many like pumpkin spice scent, apple cider, apple. Just a great time to stock up on candles. And no one would be the wiser if you even get like the pillar candles, tea light candles, and just you can start lighting them. This could be the start of your practice if you are just beginning. You can also go back a few episodes, because I have some things where you can make different salts and the colors and working on days of the week. And this is where you can really start doing your research and divination. Get to it. And it doesn't always mean pick up a pendulum, pick up a tarot deck or an oracle deck. You most certainly can. Maybe you divine by searching in your dreams, astral projecting, right? Astral traveling. You can divine by having a coin, asking questions, yes or no. Divination is what you make it to be in your own way. But you could very much so use cards, use a pendulum, do candle ritual, listen to amazing music, carving pumpkins, connecting with your ancestors. There's so many things that you can really do around this time, but maybe you pick up something new, like crafting tea blends, creating fire cider, or I love to make ginger shots to keep the family healthy. But I would love to hear what you do around the fall. What is your tradition or your ritual or things that you really hold on to in the fall or that you create, either for yourself or for your family, the little ones? I would love to hear. Another thing you can implement as in your ritual is joining me every first Wednesday and or third Wednesday of each month because I am doing Reiki for the community. It's via Zoom. You don't have to say anything or have your camera on. I lead you through restorative Reiki the first Wednesday. So releasing and getting rid of any stagnant or negative energy from the month before, cleansing you out and making you feel good and unblocking maybe some of those roads that you've been having some issues on, releasing stress and anxiety. Every third Wednesday of the month, I go a little bit woo-woo. I pull tarot cards and I do some candle work magic. And I lead you down with Reiki meditation. And that's really for people, especially if you're a healer, a mentor or coach, you divine or channel quite a bit, or you don't mind having tarot read to you as far as candle working, especially if you work with a lot of people, whether you have clients, small business or not, it's a good practice. That when we go a little bit deeper. Maybe you want to come to both. Hell yeah, do both because Reiki twice a month, I know I would sign up. And I love doing it and I love being of service to you all, especially if it means to have this part of your practice as part of your fall ritual. So, I will have all the links below every first Wednesday of the month, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I have the link that is Restorative Reiki. Every third Wednesday of the month is Elevate Your Practice, and that link will be below as well via Zoom, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. As soon as you sign up, I send you an email with the Zoom link. It's about 40 minutes, no longer than 45. I honor your time and I get straight to work. All right, gorgeous souls. I have some fantastic guests coming up, and I'm really excited for this fall weather to start creeping in. And from hearing from you, remember that you can get a hold of me on my email, susie'senchanted at gmail.com. You can shoot me a DM. You can catch me on my socials. I also have a link if you have any questions or topics you would like to explore and hear about. I also want to hear your spooky or supernatural encounters because I will be reading those on the podcast as well. Some of the ones I have already received have been, ooh, give me goosebumps, and some are exciting. It doesn't have to be scary, but at any point in time, I know we've all had some kind of encounters, especially if you're working on your clairs, which I have a bunch of episodes on how to tap into those. So maybe that'll be part of your ritual during the fall. Okay, gorgeous souls, until next time, I will see you at the crossroads.